Hello and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. It's currently Tuesday. Sorry for not filming anything yesterday, but I was absolutely knackered and I'm still a little bit today. I don't know why, but this weekend I have literally just been drained. But hopefully it will get better this week and I'll get some more energy. Despite being absolutely drained, I have managed to read quite a lot of my book, and that's because I think it's going to be one of my favourite books, like, ever. So that book is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. That is again upside down. Oh my, if you saw my last vlog, I can't hold books the right way around, but we're gonna go for it. This book follows a boy called Zachary who is in his university library and discovers a book that has no identifying factors about it, except that it's got the title called Sweet Sorrows. All the chapters seem a bit disjointed, they don't follow a kind of narrative plot line, and one of the chapters he stumbles upon is about him as a boy, and that kind of leads him on a trail of trying to discover what this book is about and trying to find the place that it talks about, which is, funny enough, the Starless Sea. This book is like so much more complicated than that and has so many more levels than that I can't even describe. Like, I tried to discuss what it was about to someone yesterday and I just couldn't. You just can't encompass it all in words without, one, spoiling it, two, doing it justice, and three, just like, I don't even know. You just can't do this book justice. Like, I've absolutely fallen in love with it. It is beautifully written, it's very whimsical. I get that the beginning is a bit confusing, it doesn't make a lot of sense because the way the book is structured is that it has multiple parts to it, and the first part alternates between the Sweet Sorrow chapters and chapters that follow Zachary, which is a more narrative flow, and they're much more easy to follow, but then the Sweet Sorrow chapters just seem like they're completely random and kind of break up the narrative, so that's a struggle to get through. Which is, like, fair enough. I didn't read that much at the start. It took me a while to get through the first like 100 or so pages, but since then it's snowballed. I just like absolutely chowed through it. I am currently on page 364. I've got about 150 pages left, less than that, a little bit less than that. So I've read about 250 pages since Sunday, and that I think says it all, since I don't really read that much. Well, I mean, obviously I read that much, but I don't really read that much in a day. I read about 50 pages a day just because I'm quite a slow reader. So been chowing through this. But I think if you just plough through that kind of confusing aspect to it, once you get to bits where those bits start making sense and they start connecting, and you just, oh, I just want to go back and reread those bits that I didn't understand, because now I can fit them all together as a jigsaw. Or I'm getting to that point. Hopefully it will all fit together at the end, but the picture is definitely becoming a lot more clearer. I'm just loving it. Ow. I do think I'll finish this either today or tomorrow, because that's not 150 pages, 140 pages isn't that much. And I've been reading about 100 pages a day in the last 2 days, so it's not like a good track record. I'm at the point where I just want to sit and read it all the time, like I don't want to do anything else. But you know, sadly life doesn't work like that all the time. Oh yeah, I'm quite excited for this week because I think there's quite a few things that I've not done before that I think you'll like. So two booktubers, Rachel Marie's Bookish Journey or Book Journey, I shall put their labels here, and Meg with Books are doing a 24-hour readathon. And a 24-hour readathon is one of the things that I really wanted to do this year because I've never done one. I thought it'd be quite cool, and it just so happens to be that I'm free-ish during that day, so I will hopefully be taking part on that on Saturday. There will just be, I think there's just, I might have to go out for a meal in the evening, but that's all that I have planned for that day. So other than that, I'm literally going to just be reading the whole day. So I don't know what book I'm going to pick for that. Maybe Girls of Storm and Shadow, or Shadow and Storm, whichever way around it is. Just because it's quite a short book, so I feel like I would potentially be able to actually finish it within the 24 hours, which for me would be really cool. I haven't finished a book in 24 hours in like so long. I used to do it quite a lot as a child, but I think, you know, as you get older, your taste mature, books get longer, time gets busier. So I haven't done that in a long time, so that would be exciting to do. And then the day after that, Yasmin the Reader and Sophisticated Books are doing a live show for the Starless Sea, and I've never watched a live show before, or kind of done that kind of thing before. So because I'm loving this so much and I've never done that before and I would like to, I want to watch that. That is at 9 o'clock on Sunday evening. So it might be in this vlog because it is Sunday, but yeah, I'll put this in this vlog because I would quite like to just see what that was like and maybe tell you guys whether or not it went well. Although I don't really think I do much, I think I just watch them. So we can see how well I watched it. But yeah, that's all I have planned for this week. I shall hopefully update you when I finish this, which hopefully will be sooner rather than later. I know I said in my last vlog that I was just going to take it easy, you know, I didn't want to rush it or anything like that, but past Kizzy did not know what she was talking about. Present Kizzy knows what she's talking about, and she wants to finish this because it's so good. Literally, like, I did not want to stop reading last night. Like, I had to like force myself to stop and go to sleep, and even then I was like struggling to sleep just because I wanted to keep reading it, but I couldn't because I had to get up early this morning. So it's proving problematic, so we need to finish it so we can stop being obsessed by it. It's the kind of book that you want loads of, like, you read it and then you want loads of the things in it, like you want loads of the fandom things, like there's like dice and swords and all that kind of stuff, and like bee necklaces and things like that. So like I really want all that kind of thing now, just to have on my shelf, to have. Like, they're completely useless things, but I want them. And I did try looking for some, but none of them were like ones that I specifically wanted or could like afford to spend like £25 on. So we didn't do that, but we want to. The other thing I do wish I'd done is tabbed it. I do wish I'd annotated it. Little plug there, if you haven't seen my annotated book video thing, go and check that out. But yeah, I do wish I'd annotated it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I don't want to ruin the sprayed edges or the stenciled edges with tabs. So yeah, that's just my little update. Rambled enough now, so I shall see you later and I'll check in with you hopefully when I finish this bad boy. Hello, so it's currently Thursday, so I just wanted to come on here and update you because there's quite a lot I left out in my introduction that I only remembered afterwards, and exciting stuff. I finished The Starless Sea. Yeah, I finished this bad boy. I managed to read the last 70 or so pages yesterday, even though I was super tired and I just was not feeling it, but I did it and I finished it. And when I finished it, I didn't know what to say. And my boyfriend asked me, he was like, oh, how was it? And I was like, I don't know, because it kind of just left you like you don't know. I don't know. I gave it 5 stars because I loved it, but it's one of those books that you're just kind of confused. You're confused, like, hold on. So I wrote in my reading journal like straight after I finished it, and this is what I said, and I think it kind of sums up the feeling of the book quite well. I said it's beautiful, magical, dreamlike, magical again, so we clearly like the magical, wonderfully confusing and thought-provoking. So the wonderfully confusing part I think is quite accurate. It is quite confusing. It has so many layers to it that it is so difficult to describe, and you kind of just have to go with it. You kind of have to keep going, and as those things kind of come clear, it becomes more and more just meaningful and amazing, and I just loved it. And then the ending was like not how I thought it was going to be. Like, it wasn't a massive big dramatic ending. Well, it was quite dramatic, but it wasn't as dramatic as I thought it was going to be. It didn't turn out how like I thought it was going to be. I won't say how I thought it was going to be because then that obviously spoils it for how it actually is. But I am super excited for that live show on Sunday, just because I feel like I need to talk about it with someone that's read it. And even though I won't be talking to them, but just hearing other people discuss it, I think will help me kind of sort out my thoughts for it, as at the moment I'm still quite confused about it and I'm still not sure what to think about it. But it is definitely a 5 star because I feel like I will think about it a lot, and I will always look back to it with fond memories and just remember reading it and loving it. So exciting stuff. That's my first 5-star read of the year. How exciting. I'm so glad, because you know when you buy a book because it's beautiful, that's pretty much what I did with this, because I read this Night Circus when I was, I think 17 or 16, so I think my like reading taste hadn't quite got to that maturity yet, couldn't fully enjoy it. Now I want to go back and I want to reread it just because I want to like be in the world of Erin Morgenstern's writing again. Like, I want to reread this immediately, even though I can't because I have other things that I need to read and I want to read, but I want to reread this now. I think if I'd read The Night Circus now, I would have had a different opinion. Like, I only gave it 3 stars at that point just because I think I didn't really get it. At that time, I just needed something that was like really plot driven and like fast paced and do. Whereas now I don't need that quite so much. Like, I don't have to have that in a book for me to love it. Like, most of the time I do, let's face it, but this was just wonderful, and it was quite plot driven. Like, that makes it sound like it was super slow, whereas I don't think it was. Maybe that's just because I read quite big chunks of it. Like, I read 100 pages, 100 pages, 100 pages, 100 pages pretty much every day that I picked it up. So for me that's quite a lot to read at one time. Like, normally it's just a few chapters or 50 pages. So maybe that's why I didn't think it was slow paced. I think it definitely was at the start, perhaps, as it was setting the tone and the scene. But like, for me the pages just fell away. Like, I didn't feel like I had to sit there for hours and hours and hours and force myself to read it. I did sit there for hours and hours and hours, but that was because I actually wanted to. So yes, I love this. 5 stars. Can't wait for the live show. So I think I'll tell you a bit more about my opinion of it then, after that. So stay tuned for Sunday. The other thing I forgot to tell you when I started my vlog earlier was that I have started another audiobook, and this is The Hobbit by j.r.r. Tolkien. So The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy are kind of four books that I feel like I need to read, just because I feel like you can't call yourself a fantasy reader unless you've read them. They're one of those books that kind of, they like started the genre, they just define the genre, they are prestigious within the genre, they're just books that you kind of have to have read, and I haven't read them. So it's about time that I did, but it's also not a book that I just ever felt like I wanted to pick up. I think because it is so prestigious and well loved and like kind of renowned, that I was worried I would pick it up and I wouldn't like it. Like it would be a bit dated or just wouldn't have the same things that I was looking for. So I think picking up an audiobook has actually been really good, because the audiobook person is really good. Like he tells it so well, and it just makes it a really immersive story. Like it feels like one of those bedtime stories that you listen to as a child. Or I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks as a child when I was going to sleep, and it feels like one of those books that I would have read then. So maybe that's why it's got a little nostalgia thing, like Stephen Fry, Harry Potter. That was my childhood sleep time. So would recommend that if you're going to read the Harry Potter books on an audiobook. Stephen Fry as the narrator. It's gold. So yeah, I'm about 20% the way through that, so we'll be reading that throughout the rest of the week. But apart from that, I don't really have much else to update you on. I have no idea what to pick up next. I'm in a bit of a reading because I don't really know what to do now that I finished The Starless City. So I think I just need to plunge into it now. But I don't want to not read anything, because I've managed to read every single day this week, and I want to keep that going. I feel like that momentum, I just need to keep going. But I don't know what to read. So we'll have to see what's on the shelf and whatever takes my fancy. So exciting. I shall update you when I decide what to read. But until then, goodbye. Okay, I just looked back at that and I think it all got really blown out at the end because the suns decided to come out throughout that video. So if it did, I'm really sorry. If it didn't, then this video won't be in there because I'll have fixed it on post. But you never know, so I'll just film as a case. So sorry. To round up this video because the weekend got super busy and I didn't expect it to, so I didn't actually get to film anything, and I barely got to read anything as well, which is a bit disappointing. I only managed to take part in the first couple of hours of the 24-hour readathon, and then I had to do work for uni and meet people in the evening, and it just got a bit busy. And then on Sunday I didn't actually manage to read anything because I was out all day and then had stuff in the evening as well. So last week kind of just petered off, and then I just didn't film anything else. So I did start a few books. Oh yeah, excuse the dressing gown, it's freezing in my house right now, so I'm trying to keep as warm as possible. But the first book I started was A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. This is a French kids book, I think, or YA book, and it is translated into English because I can't read French even though I'd like to. And I literally have only read about 50 pages of this, not a lot at all, so yeah, didn't get very far in it. It seems okay, it's quite simple to read. I've had it for ages, and I know there's a third one coming out or being translated soon into English, so I need to get cracking on it because I still haven't got even the second one. But I'd like to because it sounds interesting. It is about a world that lives, like the cities are on different things, so they're on different kind of flying. I don't know how to explain it. I haven't read enough, I think, to get a grasp of the kind of world yet. But it's meant to have a very interesting magic system, so we're looking forward to that. And then the next book I started is Girls of Storm and Shadow, and I started this during the 24-hour readathon. So I read about 100 pages and then I took a break from the readathon and then never got back to it because I got a bit distracted. But if I show you, I got distracted, but I do think it was distracted for a good reason, because I was doing French revision because I'm doing a French course at uni. So I'll just going to show you because I literally spent hours on this, and you know, instead of doing all the reading and the other uni work that I was meant to be doing. But I did loads of like revision pages. I don't know how well you can see that. The lighting is literally disappearing by the second as well. It's just getting cloudier and cloudier and greyer and greyer. So I'm trying to do this quite quickly. But yeah, I just did loads of revision pages for my French, and I now understand French a little better, which is always a positive. And it looks pretty-ish. I think it does anyway. I think it does anyway. Actually, I only did 8 kind of sections of French, which isn't a lot, and clearly I spent way too much time doing the titles for each of them, but I had fun, and I don't really get in the kind of mood to do French a lot, so I thought I'd just roll with it whilst I was in the mood for it, and I did. So I didn't get much reading done this week. I did finish Strange the Dreamer. I think as well I'm struggling after that, because I don't know about you, but if you read a book that you really enjoyed, it is so difficult to then get or jump straight into another book. Like, I just can't do it. I tried reading 2 books, as you can see, and didn't get very far with them. So I just think maybe I needed just a little bit of a break. Just a little bit of a break. And I'm struggling to read my uni books as well, just because they're just not as good as anything I want to read. But yeah, so sorry about the delay in things. Even though you won't know it's a delay, it's just in my I know it's a delay. So sorry about that. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog, even though it's been short. I did try and film the 24-hour readathon, but obviously I didn't finish it, so sad times there. But you know, life sometimes gets in the way, and you just gotta go for it. Oh, the Starless Sea live show didn't go ahead on Sunday, and one of the girls lost her voice, so understandably they've postponed it to Friday. So I'll be doing that on Friday instead. So that's why that's not in here as well. I didn't completely fail in all of life on the weekend. So you won't hear about that, I'm afraid, because this will be going up on Wednesday, and it's not Friday till 2 days after that, because I know the days of the week. Sorry about that. But there you go. Life, as you can see, gets in the way. I'm going to finish that vlog here, and I shall see you next week.